liberation, and that is the third most important question. If the first important question, God, where are you? The second most important question, who is my neighbor? The third is, so if you are living under occupation, then how are we going to be liberated? What is the way for liberation? That's a very important question in the Middle East, but it is definitely the question in Palestine. And believe it or not, the answers at that time are still the same like today. The first group of people will say, just if we follow the divine law, we will be liberated. This is what the Pharisees, right, were saying. But this is what, like, the Muslim Brotherhood are saying, the Sharia. One possible answer. It will be always there, by the way. Now, the second answer that people give in that context, and they have been giving, is, superpowers, they don't understand any language but the language of power. So they hit, we hit back. Military resistance. At the time of Jesus, these were the zealots. Today, maybe Islamic Jihad or other. It's a possible answer. They hit, we hit. And then you had that, third answer, which says, the superpower will remain a superpower. So let's find a way of accommodation. This is usually the answer of the leadership, political leadership and church leadership. So the political leadership says, we will arrange, negotiate. They call it today negotiation. But negotiation with the superpower. There is no negotiations with the superpower because the superpower dictates. And if you are kosher enough, they let you live. This is what happened to Herod the Great. He was not a superpower. He had power by proxy. And again, this is also the answer of the religious establishment in the Bible, the Sadducees, because if you are religious leaders in that setting, you need somehow to keep negotiating with the occupier for the sake of your people, and you need to talk to your people against the superpower. It's not easy. I don't want to be a patriarch in that setting because this is what you do. It's another answer. And there was a fourth answer which basically said, and these answers are still there, as I said, they will tell you, you know what, the superpower is a superpower, so let's get some bucks out of that. So this is subcontracting. This is what the tax collector at the time of Jesus were doing, taking taxes from their own people just to give to the empire, and then they will leave something in their pockets. Lots of subcontracting is going on nowadays in the Middle East. And there was a fifth group who were basically saying, you know what? The superpower is so powerful that we will not be able to do anything. It's only the Messiah. When he comes, he will be able to change that context. And so waiting for the Messiah is the fifth answer that our people are still, people are waiting for Saladin to come. Somebody like Saladin. They have to wait long. And then comes Jesus, looks at these 5 different answers, And interestingly enough, he doesn't provide a sixth answer. He refuses to provide one because he doesn't want to have just another ideology next to 5 ideologies. And what he does is something very interesting. He collects from among all of these movements disciples. So in his discipleship, there was a Pharisee who thought the law is the way. There was a zealot who wanted to fight back even when they came to take Jesus in Gethsemane. He took his sword. He had a tax collector. He had all of them. Because actually what he was saying is, we need to work on an inclusive community. The all other answers, they are exclusive. They are so exclusive that they start even not talking to each other. I mean, imagine today in Palestine, you have Fatah and you have Hamas, both Palestinians, both saying they are fighting against the same occupier, but they cannot talk to each other because the one thinks they want answer number 2 and the others think they have answer number 3. Exactly, they miss the point of creating an inclusive community. And actually, back in '95, this was something, very important, that we said, we will not wait for any Messiah to come. I had some friends here in the States, and when President Bush was elected, they thought he is the Messiah. Really, they thought they didn't call him Messiah, and they had another people who thought Obama, actually, he is the Messiah. And I remember when President Bush, when he nominated Tony Blair, Middle East envoy, many people thought now salvation will come to Palestine. I said, after destroying Iraq, they are sending him to Palestine, God help us. Waiting for the Messiah. And actually what Jesus said, you know what? I'm here. No need to wait anymore. And this is what I tell people all the time, If we want to wait, we have to wait long. Because our Messiah came 2,000 years ago. Now this is so important for the Middle East because there are still so many groups waiting for the Messiah, for the perfect world to come. It will not come unless we are the agents to make it happen. So I tell people, you know what? If you are waiting for the Messiah, go ahead. Our Messiah came 2,000 years ago. And we know it for a fact because, he came to our town. So I know what I'm talking about, right? So, he said what needed to be said. He did what needed to be done. And the ball is in our court. Either we do it or we leave it. And back in '95, we said, we will do it. We will start with this vision. People might think it's too big, and every time I discover it's just too small because the need is so big. And so this is why actually we started this, to think, okay, how can we then, this theology, what we were developing, how can we transform this theology into programs? Because, sometimes as pastors especially, we think if we preach, everything is done, everything is okay. But we need to translate this into programs to reach people. And this is actually why in '95 we decided to start that center.